Welcome back, guys. We're already laughing. We want to welcome Joey Thurmond and Dan Whitehurst of Sit Down Comedy, and we're being entertained already, aren't we?
We really are. We're having a great time,
They
guys.
have a comedy show in Branson starting this afternoon at the Majestic Theater. Guys, you are both retired policemen.
Yeah. I would never would have guessed that. After just talking to you guys on this couch laughing, I can't imagine you being like, I'm gonna have to pull you over, ma'am. You know?
Oh, we were mean.
Were you?
You were mean?
Some of our supervisors had the exact same thoughts that you guys.
Well, the last thing I had with the policeman, he pulled me over twice, and he came to my car, and I said, "You're the same guy that gave me a ticket last time."
and being as pretty as you are, you didn't notice the pattern there.
No, he did not. It's missing beat. There you go, ma'am. Okay, guys, tell us about your show.
Well, it's called 10-8, America's Funniest Cops Back in Service. We're both retired. Dan was a Nashville Metro police officer. I was a cop around Atlanta for 16 years. We're both retired. And it's a lot of funny stories from the road and from the streets. And I think the funniest stuff is actually backstage, the stuff that we can't tell on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We know how that is.
Yeah, we know how that is.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example? You know, I have a brother who's a former cop as well.
Yeah.
So the stories, now I'm telling you, the stories he would tell were not necessarily funny stories. So are you pulling from that, like maybe the things that people don't know about being a police officer?
Sure, I think so. That's what I try to do. I try to take things. I grew up in an era where, you sat around the fireplace or whatever with granddads and uncles, and they told these fantastic stories, and that's what I wanted to do. Those are the because it wasn't all about watching TV or whatever then,
Right.
and that was what I wanted to do. So what I've done is I've just taken bits and pieces of different things that would happen on the road and put them together, and it's a really fun way to do it the way we do it. It's kind of a your turn, my turn.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
Because you don't really see too many comedy teams anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's something that I enjoy, it's a little different.
Yeah. Now, how did you guys get connected?
Go ahead.
Well, actually, Joey was doing the show with somebody else.
Yep.
And James Sibley, who works in Branson at the Pierce Arrow Theater, he called, that other guy didn't work out, so he called me. I've been a stand-up comedian for several years, and he said, hey, you want to work with this guy? And Joey was also an ex-professional wrestler, so he's got some of that stuff going on, too. So we come up and worked it out. Wrote a script, actually, on the first drive to Branson from Nashville. We kind of wrote out what we were going to do because we had a show the next day, so we had to drive and write at the same time.
You wrote the show on the way to the show.
Off
Oh,
the cuff.
my
That
gosh.
is great. That is so great.
Got on stage and hadn't rehearsed anything.
Nope.
Just got on stage and said, all right, here we go. And 90 minutes later, the audience stood up and clapped, and
Wow.
we walked away.
But you were telling me about sit-down comedy, and usually it's stand-up comedy, but you were talking about that because you do tell a lot of stories. So sit down, relax, we're going to tell you some stories.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way that we wanted the show to be, was we wanted it to be that feel of like it was when I was growing up, where you were sitting around and telling stories and tricks.
Yeah.
Plus, we're lazy.
At least you admit it.
Yeah.
There's your flyer right there. And
Awesome.
you're back in September a couple of dates
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, we're back on September 2nd and 3rd at the Majestic. Same things. Fridays shows are 2 and 7:30 on Saturdays.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question I think a lot of the viewers are having right now. You're talking about being former cops. You don't necessarily put cops and stand-up comedians or sit-down comedians in the same sentence. Is it something you always liked and wanted to do? Or how do you decide one day, you know what, I'm a retired cop, let's go into comedy? How does that transition happen?
You want to answer that?
I was actually doing comedy while I was a police officer. Now, I did not tell any police-related material, and I did not tell the people I was working with that I was a cop. Because in the wild, cops and comedians sometimes will fight. But as soon as I was retired, I just started it, kind of opened up a new world because I was able to tell the police stories. And, a lot of people don't like cops, so it was...
Well,
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
thank you.
We
Thank
do.
you.
We do. I would just have to ask you, are any of your stories about crazy ways that people think they're going to get by with stuff and it's just like ridiculous? No? Yes? That's
Absolutely.
what I'm thinking. It's
Absolutely.
like, use your brain.
Did I ever tell you the time well, I see females doing it all the time, so I thought, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm getting stopped. I'm going to start crying. So hopefully...
Come see the show.
It did not work!
I would love for you to come see the show.
Can I tell you, I have never tried to get out of a ticket in my life except for one time in Nashville. The road was paved beautifully. It was late at night. I was traveling fast, and I was listening to music, and I had just gotten a few previous tickets, and I just begged him. I said, please, my husband's going to kill me. And he was very kind, but that's the only time I ever had.
Well, ma'am, in order to not have a murder on our hands, I guess we'll just let you
Oh my goodness.
Just advice, crying doesn't work so much for the guys,
yeah.
just saying. Yeah. But I tried.
I knew a girl that opened a cookie company. She'd offer them cookies.
Well, that's not a bad
There you
idea.
go.
Of course, absolutely. Everybody's got an avenue to escape, if you will. Yeah.
What does your family think about this?
Oh, I think mine thinks it's fantastic. And, oh, you know what? I wanted to say this. One thing that we kind of realized is that later on, you talking about doing bits while we were policing, is that I know that I used my comedy in times, or hopefully a quick wit, to be able to say something during a situation to where it would change the outcome of that.
It would de-escalate.
It would de-escalate it.
Wow.
And I know that hearing his stories, he's done the same thing.
Well, I was a detective, so most of the stuff I did was interviewing suspects, and my biggest goal was to try to make them forget I'm a cop
Yeah.
while I'm talking to them, and if I could make them laugh in any way, it would lighten the mood a little bit, and it seemed to help during interviews.
Okay.
I have seen that so many times in those, documentary, Netflix shows where you see them being interrogated and they start having a conversation, and you feel comfortable with
Trying
them.
to humanize
Yeah.
it.
And you have to, everybody thinks cops come in there and just yell at you. You can't get a confession that way. You have to be, you can't.
It's psychological, too.
Right.
See, I was right the other way around. If I stopped you and I knew that I was going to write a ticket for this, for whatever it was, if somebody made me laugh and it was a genuine belly laugh, I'm like, get out of here.
Fantastic.
Comedy works for tickets,
Yes,
guys.
it does.
Comedy.
Guys, this is going to be a great show. Call the Majestic Theater for tickets, or you can go online. Also, Majestic Theater, Branson.com. Real quick, you have a movie coming out.
Yeah. I've been blessed. I'm a full-time actor now and comedian, and I've got, I think, 48 credits now on different movies and TV shows. But there's a new movie that's coming out. When I got the script in my hand, it was the first script that I had got in forever. That there was not one swear word. There was no innuendo.
Nice.
Wow.
It was a perfect, awesome family movie.
Great.
And it's called The Skeleton's Compass, and it's available now for pre-sale on Apple TV, and the premiere is going to be September the 6th, and it just recently won the Dove Seal of Approval for approved for all ages.
So that's going to be on Apple TV?
Yes.
I have Apple TV. I'm going to watch that.
And it's going to be on other multiple platforms.
Okay,
too.
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
And he
Thank
is a
you,
good
guys.
actor. He's a good
He's
actor.
a good actor.
I'll pay you later.
Fantastic.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, now you've convinced Kelly and I to join the force, so we're just going to switch roles.
Yeah, come on over.
All right, guys, thank
Love
you
to
so
have
much. Make sure you check out their show. Don't go anywhere. We're celebrating National Vinyl Day with some records right after this.
That's right.
Yeah, my brother's stories about being a cop, I couldn't do it.